Ahava blessings. Welcome to this episode of Embodying the Shekhinah. This podcast is here to support us, to guide us during these times of incredible energy. There is so much volatility in our cosmic energetic system that I think we all need to take a breath as we go into this episode, as we go into this new cycle. So let's take a deep breath. Let's ground into this moment. We are stepping into a new lunar cycle, a new astrological new year. So if you have felt the need to expand, to clear out, to clean, to reorganize, to reorientate yourself, all of that is exactly what we need to be doing. For those of you that don't know me, welcome to this episode. My name is Aurea. I am an ordained Magdalene priestess, a Reiki master, energy and sound alchemist. And I work with astrology, more specifically astrology through a Kabbalistic, mystical, biblical lens, in order for us to better understand the frequencies that we're working with. Not only the frequencies that are our personal vibration, but the collective frequencies, as the collective frequencies have an impact on our personal energy fields. Everything is interconnected and everything is interrelated. So there's a lot to be gained by understanding the energies of every lunar cycle. Every lunar cycle begins with the new moon, and this new moon is happening on the 18th, which is a Wednesday of March, 9:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Daylight Time. I don't know what we're at, but basically, if you're in the Eastern Time Zone of the U.S., 9:23 p.m. If you are in the Pacific Time Zone, 6:23. If you are Central European Time, as of this time, I believe you guys will have sprung forward. So it should be 3:23 a.m. on the 19th, on Thursday, early hours of the morning. New moon is a powerful time for new beginnings. However, this moon is interesting because it is happening at 28 degrees of Pisces. But it is happening at the final degrees of Pisces. We are just finishing the Pisces Adar cycle. But it is beginning, so this moon, even though it is in Pisces, at the final degrees of Pisces, we are beginning a new lunar cycle of Aries of Nissan. And Aries was created by the letter He, the Aramaic Hebrew creation frequency He, which is the breath, the sacred breath of life, the breath of Shekhinah. It is a very powerful letter, and in biblical astrology, in Kabbalistic astrology, Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars was created by the Aramaic Hebrew creation frequency, Dalet. And Dalet is the doorway. It also symbolizes the poor man, and it is about openings, initiations, a new threshold, and about allowing yourself to receive. And humility is really something that is very important during this cycle. During any cycle, if we're wishing to receive the wisdom of a lunar cycle, the wisdom of anything, we need to have humility. And Aries energy, being the first of the Western zodiac, being a headstrong fire energy, leadership energy, an energy that is bold, takes no prisoners, does what they want to do because they want to do it. Often they leap without thinking. It can be a very feisty energy to work with. However, it is a very beautiful energy because Aries is also an energy that really brings us into alignment with our higher self. It allows us to fuse the ego, the lesser self, with the higher self, and to know that in order for us to live fully embodied, fully present, and to really actualize our soul in this lifetime, we must surrender all expectations, all egoic trappings, everything that we think we know, we must surrender and take that leap of faith. Have that infinite trust in the divine that everything is going to work out. So this cycle, we have the equinox, we have the astrological new year, which is the astrological new year. It's happening at 1, at basically 10, which is the 1. 0, the number 0 in the 10 is cosmic womb, infinite possibilities, and the 1 is unity and a complete oneness with source, with the divine. It's about co-creation and knowing, having the confidence, knowing that we are one with the divine. It is the soul, when she remembers that we come from the divine, that we are infinite oneness. This is a time for vision, to envision the life, the manifestations, the frequency you wish to hold. Envision it, and then to take disciplined action. Because Aries is not the type of energy that wants to sit in the sidelines and wait. Aries is the kind of energy that wants to go and do the thing. So if you ever know an Aries, if you know Aries, you know they are go-getters. They are very powerful, energetic beings, full of passion, full of life, full of the spark of creation. Because they are that fire that initiates a new cycle, that initiates the springtime in the northern hemisphere. So it's a very powerful, fiery energy. So we are receiving this impetus, this push to move forward, to step into a new embodiment. We are elevating if we choose to. Because remember, everything is free will. And we have the free will to choose creation or to choose destruction. That is what we're choosing. Either we are boldly moving forward to create, to consciously co-create with the divine and to enhance creation, or we are seeking to burn it all down. And even though with this fiery energy, as we're coming off of the Mercury retrograde, you might be feeling all this pent-up energy and you don't know how to channel it. You haven't known how to move it forward. Now we are beginning to see, what is it that we need to be doing? What is it that we are stepping into? If we choose it, of course. So on the 20th of March, which is a couple days after the new moon, the sun will be at 0 degrees of Aries, and it'll be in conjunction with Saturn and Neptune. Saturn is the taskmaster. Saturn is the energy that is disciplined, hardworking, structured. It is about time. It is about dedicating the time to fulfilling what you came here to do. Saturn is the taskmaster, but Saturn, if you are doing the things that your soul came here to do, which is to just be and to allow your soul to express in the body, if you are allowing your soul the space to expand, the space to grow, the space to learn, the space to evolve, then Saturn bestows blessings and abundance upon you. It is conjunct Neptune, and Saturn does not like being conjunct Neptune because Saturn is naturally restrictive, because Saturn wants to prevent you from making a fool of yourself, is essentially the energy of Saturn. Saturn sees a whole bunch of little children running about, not knowing what to do with themselves and not being disciplined, not knowing what to do with their creation energy, and Saturn holds the reins in so that these little children that are human beings don't go off and really create a ruckus. Neptune is the exact opposite. Neptune is an energy that is all about cosmic oneness. It is the mystical, spiritual, the soul unembodied and unbothered by the physical restrictions. It is expansion, it is spirituality, it is super dreamy, intuitive, aligned with cosmic oneness. Neptune seeks to dissolve everything, all boundaries, all notion of who you are. And that's not what Saturn likes. Saturn likes to be in control. So here we have an energy where the sun representing yourself, you are feeling the push and the pull between complete dissolution, oneness, knowing you are infinite, cosmic, all, and you are a spark of the divine, and yet feeling the push to want to structure that energy of infinite oneness into physicality. So it is a very interesting energy to be witnessing, because it seems that everything is completely opposite, because Saturn is the complete opposite of what Neptune wants to do. And then the sun in the mix is that fire energy coming in, that push to move the self forward. And it's at 0 degrees, which is infinite possibilities. It is the cosmic womb. So here we have to take note of what we wish to birth and how we wish to birth it forward. When we have a conjunction, we have a merging of energies. And at this point, with the sun at 0 degrees, we can move forward in a very bold and innovative way, where we are bringing together the cosmic infinite oneness that Neptune embodies, but bringing it into the physical world, bringing it into a structure that can create a new paradigm, a new legacy, a new structure within which, a new framework within which we can create and manifest. So there's a lot of karmic lessons and a shift that is happening because of those karmic lessons. The Pisces new moon that is ushering this Aries energy in at the final degrees of Pisces is bringing us to completion. We are feeling the ending of a cycle, of an era. Things have to be different. Where before the direction you needed seemed unclear, it seemed uncertain, you didn't quite know what needed to happen. Now with the sun moving into Aries, you are feeling a strong energy, a strong itch to move forward anywhere, somewhere, but you just got to shift, and you just got to move, and you just got to take action. With that need to take action, Saturn is bringing you a deep sense of responsibility, and this is tempering the impulsivity, the need to just do something or burn everything down. This is a time to take bold, disciplined action. Be thoughtful, be practical. Take calculated risks. Saturn is in its fall in Aries, so it's not as restrictive as it normally is, which allows us to use the energy of Saturn to create that new structure, but not to feel so dampened by the restriction. During this time, we are securing a new foundation. We are building the structure to ground our manifestations into physicality. There is a lot of energy, there is a lot of personal responsibility that needs to be taken during this time. And I see people just in the world, if you actually pay attention to what's going on in the world, it's kind of scary how people are avoiding reality and avoiding taking responsibility for their actions and they think that they can just say something and there are no consequences, or they can do something and there are no consequences. We need to understand, and that's Neptune in Pisces, which we just moved out of. That desire to kind of think that the laws of nature, the laws of humanity don't apply to you. This is not the time for that. We're going into a new cycle, and we must take personal responsibility for our actions. Every thought, every word, every action, everything that we do has a reaction. It has an effect. It has an impact on something, on someone, on many someones, on situations, on the planet. You do not exist in isolation. Therefore, you have to take accountability and responsibility for what you are doing, for your growth, for your setbacks, for what messes you have contributed to, because it's not just you. And we are not devoid of responsibility. And playing the victim, which can be a very shadow aspect of Pisces. Playing the victim is not the energy we're going for. Let me explain that. The reason why is because you are a spark of the divine. You are a master co-creator. You have co-created every aspect of your reality. What you like, what you don't like, what you're blah about, all of it. You have held a vibrational frequency that attracted certain experiences and certain situations into your life. If you wish to transform, you playing the victim is not the way to do it. Why is it not the way to do it? It's not the way to do it because you are giving your power away. The moment that you think you are a victim of some circumstance and not in control of your destiny, not in the driver's seat, not holding your soul contract, the moment that you think that it is everything outside of you that is the problem, you are not taking personal responsibility, you're not taking accountability, and you are playing the victim. When you play the victim, you outsource your power. And when you outsource your power, you cannot change. You cannot change, you cannot grow, you cannot evolve. All you can do is spiral downwards into that depth of victimhood. And I'm not saying that people who have done wrong are immune or somehow they themselves don't need to take accountability for their actions. What I'm saying is you, every single one of yous, and me, we all need to take accountability and responsibility for what we have contributed, the energetic frequencies we have held that have manifested what we are seeing in front of us. When we can take ownership of what we have birthed into this world, we can shift it. We can choose a different vibrational frequency at which we want to resonate. And from that frequency, we can shift and grow, evolve and create and manifest a more powerful and solid experience, a more expansive experience. Your soul came here to grow. It comes from taking ownership. That growth that your soul came here to experience, it comes from taking ownership for the stuff that we are doing. And to take action to hold a different frequency. If you wish to transform and birth a new way of doing and being and a new experience, you will not do it holding the traumas, the karmas, the limiting beliefs, you will not do it, if I could speak, holding victim programming. You won't. Because it's just not possible. Growth doesn't happen when we think we are a victim. It just doesn't. We just spiral into more of that desolate, hopeless feeling. And if you're anything like me, I don't think that's a frequency you want to hold. You don't want to feel powerless, because you're not. You don't want to feel hopeless, because you have the full support of the divine realms. We have every moment. We have the opportunity to shift, to change, to grow, to expand, to learn. When we look at a circumstance, even one that is painful and that has plagued us with suffering, if we look at that situation, the initial response will be anger, and that's okay. When we go deeper than the anger, when we transcend the anger, we feel the grief behind it, the loss. When we sit with that loss, we're able to understand we are something far greater than that loss. This is how we grow and evolve. We transcend our limitations. We allow ourselves to feel our emotions, to feel what is coming up for us, and to understand that, okay, we held a vibrational frequency that attracted, in my case, my previous relationship was not a healthy one. It was a toxic one. It was emotionally and mentally abusive. And I put myself in it. Now that I'm on the other side in a healthy, loving marriage, I can see I put myself in that situation. I held a vibrational frequency so I can come back into remembrance of what it is that I want, what it is that my soul came here to learn, to grow, to feel, to embody, in order for me to prepare myself to receive the kind of love that my soul truly desired. If I had not gone through that deep shake, that deep wake-up call that was that relationship, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to see where I still held trauma and where I still held patterns of unworthiness and undeservingness that made me feel like I needed to be punished by a partner. I wouldn't have seen what I needed to shift and the frequency I needed to hold in order to allow myself to receive the kind of love that I was pushing away before. So everything, no matter how painful, really serves to elevate us, to show us what we're holding on to that no longer works. And if we want to play the victim, we never get that aha moment, because we're stuck playing the same loop, the same pain and the same trauma. We're replaying it again and again in our hearts, in our minds, and then we're attracting more of the same. And then we wonder why we're always in shitty relationships, or we're always attracting the same shitty boss. It's because you don't value yourself. There is a part of you that is not valuing yourself, that is not taking ownership of where you don't value yourself, and that's why you're letting yourself be a doormat to whoever it is that you're allowing to do that to you. It's never the person or the thing. It's always the frequency within you, the subconscious pattern that is replaying in your energy field, that is magnetizing certain situations so you can wake up and be like, oh yeah, I don't want this anymore. Okay, how do I shift? What do I do? How can I expand beyond this limitation? How can I transcend this? This is a time to remember you are infinite. You are soul in this incarnation, and you are here. You are here to express the beauty, the radiance, the infinite glory that is the divine spark of creation that you are. You have gifts. You have gifts you have not even experienced, because You've been too busy paying attention to everything that's wrong and what you're lacking. And that is a very common thing for us to do. We have a tendency as a humanity, as the Neptunian veil lifts from Pisces into Aries, we have the tendency as human beings to get bogged down by dogma, by doing things because we were told that's how we do them, because that's the way it's always been done. Not taking into account that that way of being, doing, expressing may no longer work. So now we are shifting into a more decisive, a more self-aware, a more conscious way of being. We need to learn, and for those of us who have had a strict religious upbringing, this is difficult and painful, because we have to learn how to decouple and separate our true identity from the limiting beliefs, the programs, the belief systems that are not you. All of these belief systems, I don't think I can even name. If it's mystical and spiritual, it's a different thing. But if it's a religious authority, just in the fact that it's a religious organized authority, there is that pattern of the power hierarchical structure, the patriarchal structure. There is that desire of that structure that is in place to subjugate, to control, to manipulate, to infantilize the person. Now, this can be, the funny thing is, it doesn't even have to be a religious belief. It can be a political belief. Because if you hold on to a way of thinking, a perceived way of viewing the world, and you're so tied, you are like shackled to that way of being, that way of doing, that way of thinking. If you are shackled to that, there's no telling that person, and there's no telling you, there might be a better way. That is something we ourselves, as external to that situation, that person, cannot tell them. We ourselves have to be the ones who are willing to disrobe ourselves of all of the illusions, of all of the ego traps, of all of the limiting beliefs, of all of the false structures that we have built to control and enslave not only ourselves, but humanity. This is what the awakening is. The awakening is stripping off the layers of bullshit that we have bought and taken into our house and enshrined it on a mantle as if it's the sole way of being. And to dissolve such entrenched aspects of who you think you are is terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying, because people who have held deeply entrenched beliefs, they don't know who they are apart from it. That belief is such an ingrained part of them that if you attack that belief, they think you're attacking them. And this is something that we all have to be on guard for. Where are we creating a coupling effect with something that is not the truth, with something that is not a true representation of your soul as a divine spark? Because your soul, the spark of the divine that you are, that breath of the Shekhinah that is animating your body, is not your gender, your political beliefs, your socioeconomic status, the money in the bank, the job that you have or don't have. None of it. None of it is real, and none of that is an illusion. All of that are trappings that we took on to then take off so we can reveal more of our light. We are soul, we are love, we are light, We are oneness, eternal oneness. We are one with the divine. Everything else is an illusion. So we have to move, shift, take action from a place that is aligned with our true self, with our soul, with the divine. When we take action from this place of knowing that we are infinite oneness, what we birth into the world, what we create, what we manifest is far more powerful and influential, and it actually supports people in their own awakening than if we take action from a place of fear, from a place of limitation, from a place of ego even, thinking that, well, I have to do that because I have to fulfill my family's expectations of blah, blah, blah. All that does is give you an extra degree, an extra letters on your name, but it doesn't fulfill the soul. It doesn't fulfill the expression of your soul in human form. Your frequency is what is important. What the energy that you hold, that is what matters. This is what we take forward. It's not the money in the bank or the amount of degrees that we have from prestigious universities or whatnot. We don't take that with us. What we take with us are the growth, the lessons that we integrated, the expansion, the love, the light that we hold, the radiance that we shine forth, and how we support other people and love other people and show them that there is another way. That all of those love frequencies, compassion frequencies, unity frequencies, that becomes a part of our soul, and that is what we take forward. So this frequency we're going into, it is a soul level leadership. We are leading from the soul. We are dismantling old belief systems that no longer work. And this is why the entire world feels like it's going to hell in a handbasket, because these structures that haven't worked are being dismantled. And that is painful. But we have to understand that they have to be dismantled. Come hell or high water, we have to dismantle systems of oppression, systems of suffering, of pain. We have to bring them down. It's not comfortable for the ego. It's not. And when you're dismantling those old paradigms within yourself, it is not a picnic. I can tell you that from my own experience. It is not a picnic to look at yourself and be like, oh shit, I fucked that up. Oops. It is not a picnic to look at yourself and see where you have been messing up. It's not. But when you're able to look at yourself honestly and take full ownership of where you screwed the pooch, that is where you can step into and transcend those circumstances. Feel the discomfort, acknowledge it, transcend it. And how do we transcend it? By choosing the frequency we wish to embody and co-create with that frequency. With this sun-moon conjunction, with this new moon, we are closing cycles. We are receiving the purification. We are surrendering the ego, the need to know. We are leaning in with trust and faith that we are not alone, that we are divinely guided, that we are protected. Trust the path that is unfolding, even if you cannot see the next step or the ground in front of you or the final. You can't see the finale. You can't see the final, the threshold that you're done. You can't see it. Trust and have faith. There are two mantras that I chant every day, and they are Hineni, I am, I surrender, like I am here, I surrender. Hineni, and Hemanuta, I trust in the divine trusts in me. And I've been saying these mantras, particularly as I'm going through a cycle, and it's been challenging because it seems like I feel what is coming, but then there's the fear that comes in because it is unknown. I haven't done this before. And I can let the fear guide me and bring me down into the depths of destruction, self-destruction. Or I can say, okay, I'm feeling this fear. All right, let me reframe that fear. Let me reposition my lens and trust in the messages and the guidance that I have received from my higher self, from the divine, from the angelic realm, from the souls of the babies, from all of this, like all this higher wisdom that I have received. I can have faith in what I have received, and I can trust the process, or I can create my own destruction by not trusting the process. So for me, it has been a cycle. Pisces cycle has been a cycle of complete surrender into the unknown, and just minute by minute choosing faith, choosing to align with the divine, choosing to remain in my heart, choosing to have trust, choosing to be that, to move from that place of infinite oneness. Aries is embodying that oneness, that spark of the divine, that we are living oneness. So that is this cycle. We are the first impulse of creation. We are being the living, radiant expression of that oneness with the divine through our actions, our words, our thoughts, all in alignment with our innate divine nature. We hold a lot of power. Let the sacred flame of your desire lead you, the Hooba, the holy fire. Let it lead you. This cycle of Nissan embodies the energies of new beginnings, freedom, spiritual rebirth. This is a powerful time to transform profoundly, for liberation, for courage, action, and initiative. Aries is that sacred fire of creation, igniting the soul towards transformation, towards a higher purpose. The key words would be initiate, ignite, soul leadership. We are moving forward, and we must let go in order to move forward, in order to embody the higher octave of Aries, that spiritual warrior, infused with divine courage to face life's challenges and know that they serve a higher purpose, a higher calling. We must have faith, we must trust. The journey is one of expansion, of evolution. And this fire of Aries is refining us. It is allowing us to be like the phoenix that rises from its own ashes. We take whatever isn't ours, whatever we need to let go of, and we surrender it to the flames and allow it to be the fuel that brings us and drives us into that next phase of being, of expansion, of doing. Aries is that primordial fire of creation created by He. And He, as I mentioned, is the Aramaic Hebrew creation frequency that symbolizes breath and life force. So this energy of Aries is that catalyst, again, to step forward, to live from the higher I am, not from the lesser I am. And that also has to do with the Dalit. So the Dalit knows, it teaches you that to receive the blessings, we must empty ourselves. Because the desires of the ego are never satisfied and they lead to destruction and chaos. But the desires of the soul, they lead us into growth, into expansion, into refinement, into creation. So we are being initiated, this cycle, initiated into a powerful new way of being and doing and expressing. And in order to step into that, We must let go, surrender, and truly align with the sacred flame, the Hooba, the sacred flame of your soul's desire, and allow that sacred desire, that fire of the soul, to lead you into the next phase of your life with trust and with absolute faith. Faith that you are divinely guided, divinely protected. And as long as you take responsibility for your stuff, you're good. You have the tools, you have the abilities, you have the lessons you have integrated. That is what is going to get you through this. So enjoy this cycle. Don't allow yourself to play the victim anymore. If you've done it, it's okay. We've all done it at some point in time. It doesn't matter. What matters is the frequency you are choosing to embody now going forward, and what you are going to do, the disciplined action you're going to take to cement that new frequency into your field so you can begin attracting from that new perspective. Enjoy this lunar cycle. Enjoy the sound activation that I created for this lunar cycle. You can return to it anytime. If you enjoyed this, like, share, subscribe. I love hearing from you, so please, if you feel called to connect with me on social media, you can do so at Aurea and at Embodying the Shekhinah. All of that is linked below. You can also find me on YouTube at Aurea, where I share longer format videos. And know that this time, these energies, whatever pressure you are feeling, it's happening for you. It's not happening to you. Make sure you ground. Make sure you stay in your heart. Make sure that you are nourishing your body with good, clean, nutritious food. Ground and go out in nature. Really connect with the earth during this time, particularly during the equinox. And be joyful. Let's take that joyful energy, that connecting with joy energy from the Pisces portal, and bring that forward and joyfully take bold and decisive action that is in alignment with your soul and the divine. Have a blessed, blessed new moon. Ahava.